Good morning, students. My name is Praveen Kumar, working as a PGT English, JNV1 Malkangiri, Odisha. Today, we are going to learn a new lesson called A Letter to God, written by G.L. Fuentes. This from First Flight textbook of English for class 10th. In this lesson, I would like to tell four things. One, introduction part of the lesson, that is background of the story. Second, I'm going to tell about the author, G.L. Fontes. Next, third is explanation of the lesson paragraph wise. And number four, I'm going to briefly summarize the story. Okay, so first let's get into introduction part of the lesson, that is background of the story. Okay, in this, the story A Letter to God, written by G.L. Fuentes, revolves around the idea of having unquestionable belief in something. The story is set in a Latin American country. Lencho, if the farmer who is the protagonist of the story, writes a letter to God seeking help from the Almighty. After discovering his entire crop yields destroyed by a devastating hailstorm, although his wishes get fulfilled partially, if not completely, he is ungrateful in the end and questions the honesty and modesty of the postmasters who actually helped him with money anonymously in the name of God. The characters in this story you can find, they are first main character, the protagonist of the story is Lencho. He is a farmer, hardworking farmer. Next character is postmaster. Okay, so let's get into next part, that is about the author. Okay, about the author, his full name is Gregorio L. Fuentes. He was born on July 11th, 1897. Fuentes born on Lanzarote in the Canary Islands. He was first in the beginning of his life. He he first went to sea as a deck boy with his father at the age of 10. You can find the picture in the slide, how deck boy he was in the boat. The deck boy in the boat where he went along with his father. Beginning of his life, he was a fisherman. As he was going with along with his father in a boat, he was working as a fisherman, and the first mate of the piler. What is piler? Piler is a boat belongs to a great American writer, Ernest Hemingway. That is, he was a fisherman and the first mate of the piler. The boat belonged to American writer Ernest Hemingway. At the end, he died on January 13, 2002. That was his brief about author. Next, get into explanation part of the lesson. So, in this explanation part, I'm going to read the paragraphs which are present in the textbook, and I'll find out the difficult words from that paragraph. Then I'll make you to understand the paragraph according to the author. Okay, so let's begin. First paragraph. The house, the only one in the entire valley, sat on the crest of a low hill. From this height one could see the river and the field of ripe corn dotted with the flowers that always promised a good harvest. The only thing the earth needed was a downpour or at least a shower. Throughout the morning, Lencho, who knew his fields intimately, had done nothing else but see the sky towards the northeast. See, in this paragraph, I found four difficult words. What are they? Crest. First word is crest, top of a hill. That means you can also find the same thing in the picture. A house has been built on the top of hill. That is house on crest of hill. Next word is dotted. Dotted means full of. Means here dotted with flowers of cornfield. Full of flowers means it is a healthy crop of corn. Next word is downpour. Downpour means heavy rain. Next word is intimately. That means closely. See, from this paragraph, author would like to explain. You want to tell is what is that one? Let us see. Lencho, the farmer, lived on the only house that was there on the top of a hill. The hill was low heightened. From there, a river and a ready to harvest cornfield were visible. The field belonging to Lencho, and he had the utmost confidence that the harvest would reap great profits. The only thing that he awaited was rainfall. In this hope, he spent an entire morning gazing at the sky in the northeast direction from where a drizzle was expected to shower on his field. That means he was expecting a healthy crop. He was expecting simple rain, which is expected to come from the direction of northeast direction. Okay, this is about story in first paragraph. Let's get into second paragraph. Okay, in second paragraph, now we are really going to get some water. Woman, the woman who was preparing supper replied, Yes, God willing. The older boys were working in the field, while the smaller ones were playing near the house until the woman called to them all, Come up for dear. It was during the meal that, just as Lencho had predicted, big drops of rain began to fall. In the northeast, huge mountains of clouds could be seen approaching. The air was fresh and sweet. The man went out for no other reason than to have the pleasure of feeling the rain on his body. And when he returned, he exclaimed, There aren't raindrops falling from the sky. They are new coins. The big drops are 10-cent pieces, and the little ones are 5. See, in the pictures also you can find the first image shows that the older boys are working in the field. The second picture shows that he is experiencing the raindrops, feeling like some coins are falling down. Okay, third picture indicates that imagination of falling of 10 pesos and 10 cents and 5 cents coins falling from the sky. In this paragraph, I found one difficult word as exclaimed. That means cry out suddenly in surprise, strong emotion or pain. See, from this paragraph, author would like to explain like this. The man, while looking at the sky, confidently tells his wife that they are going to have a rain shower, to which the lady replied by saying, Only if everything happens as they hope and expect. Their elder children were working at the field and younger ones were playing near the house. When Lencho's wife calls everyone for dinner, it is during that time drops of rain begin to fall, hereby proving the farmer's prediction to be true. The wind was pleasant and clouds could be seen approaching from the northeast sky. Lencho goes out of the house to take pleasure in feeling the droplets on his body. He refers to the drizzle as coins, larger droplets being equivalent to 10 cents and the smaller ones 5 cents. He says so because these raindrops would ensure a good crop which would eventually get them a lot of money. harvesting, you will get lot of money. That was his expectation. It is the explanation given by author in this paragraph. Let's get into the third paragraph. What he was saying in the third paragraph, let us see. With a satisfaction expression, he regarded the field of ripe corn with its flowers draped in a curtain of rain. But suddenly, a strong wind began to blow, and along with the rain, very large hailstones began to fall. These truly did resemble new silver coins. The boys, exposing themselves to the rain, ran out to collect the frozen pearls. See, in this paragraph, he was telling something has been taken differently. See, the picture shows that hailstones fallen which damaged the crop field. See, in this paragraph, the difficult words we can find, they are regarded. That means considered or think of in a specified way. Second word, draped. That means adorn, cover or wrap someone or something. Third word is hailstones, a pellet of hail. That means stones of rain. Fourth word, resemble. That means have a similar appearance to or qualities in common with someone or something. Look or seem like. Last word is exposing. Make something visible by uncovering it. That means reveal something. See, from this paragraph, author would like to tell like this. What he want to explain is, on seeing everything goes as expected, Lencho reflected upon the field and the flowers covered with droplets which seemed to as if they were wrapped in a curtain. Unexpectedly, strong winds started blowing, leading to a hailstorm. Satirically, the writer refers to these pellets of frozen rain as new silver coins. Frozen pearls treated as new silver coins. The innocent boys became playful and went out in the rain to play and collect these hailstones, which look like a frozen pearls. Means frozen pearls means they are treated as a silver coins, new silver coins, which it is indirectly imagining that they are going to get number of good number of money in future. But unfortunately, what happened? Satirically, it happened destruction of the crop. That we will see in next part of the lesson. Next, let's get into next paragraph. In next paragraph, what he was telling, let us see. It's really getting bad now, exclaimed the man. I hope it passes quickly. It did not pass quickly. For an hour, the hail rained on the house, the garden, the hillside, the cornfield, and the whole valley. The field was white, as if covered with salt. Not a leaf remained on the trees. The corn was totally destroyed. The flowers were gone from the plants. Lencho's soul was filled with sadness. When the storm had passed, he stood in the middle of the field and said to his sons, a plague of locusts would have left more than this. The hail has left nothing. This year we will have no corn. That night was a sorrowful one. All our work for nothing. There's no one who can help us. We will all go hungry this year. See how he was experiencing the sadness that can be shown in the picture. The damaged cornfield in middle of the field, he was telling to his children. The difficult words from this paragraph are plague, a destructively numerous inflow of or multiplication of a harmful animal or infestation. Locusts, insects which fly in big groups and destroy crops. In this paragraph, author would like to explain his sadness. How? Let us see. The farmer now starts worrying and hopes that the storm gets over quickly. He thought of that storm may stop quickly, but it not happened, which to his utmost disappointment didn't. The hailstones covered the entire valley, including the house, garden, hillside, and the cornfield. It made everything look so white that it seemed as if it was covered in salt. Lencho became stressed and disappointed as everything went against the plan. It has happened against his plan. He was thinking that healthy crop, but hailstorm has destroyed the crop. The trees had shed their leaves, corns were smashed, and the flowers had also fallen from their plants. While standing in the withered field, he conveyed his dismay and sorrow to his sons by commenting that the effect of the storm proved to be worse than that of crop destroying insects. All their hard work had gone in vain. He felt helpless as no corn had been left and feared that they might have no that they might have to starve this time all year long. They have to get into starvation. That was the explanation given by author. Let's get into next paragraph. In this paragraph, the but in the hearts of all who lived in that solitary house in the middle of the valley, there was a single hope. What is that? Help from God. Don't be so upset. Even though this seems like a total loss, remember, no one dies of hunger. That's what they say. No one dies of hunger. All through the night, Lencho thought only of his one hope. What is that? The help of God, whose eyes, as he had been instructed, see everything, even what is deep in one's conscience. Lencho was an ox of a man, working like an animal in the field, but still he knew how to write. The following Sunday, at daybreak, he began to write a letter which he himself would carry to town and place in the mail. It was nothing less than a letter to God. In this paragraph, the difficult words we found are solitary. That means existing alone, lonely. Next word is conscience, an inner sense of right and wrong. Third phrase is ox of a man. That means hard working like a bullock. Fourth word, daybreak, the time in the morning when daylight first appears. See the image, the picture. It also saying that they are praying to God, only that you help from God. That symbolizes that they are requesting help from God. In this paragraph, author would like to explain like this. Lencho spent his entire night thinking of the only option left, and that was to seek the help of God, who had been informed, has its eyes and ears everywhere. He thought of writing a letter to God conveying his grievances. Despite spending all these years working at the farm, he still knew how to write. He started writing on Sunday morning and thought of mailing it himself by going to the town. This was the explanation given by author from this paragraph. Let's get into next paragraph. God, he wrote, if you don't help me, my family and I will go hungry this year. I need 100 pesos in order to sow my field again and to live until the crop comes because the hailstorm. He wrote to God on the envelope, put the letter inside, and still troubled, went to town. At the post office, he placed a stamp on the letter and dropped it into the mailbox. One of the employees, who was a postman and also helped at the post office, went to his boss laughing heartily and showed him the letter to God. Never in his career as a postman had he known that address. The postman, a fat, amiable fellow, also broke out laughing. But almost immediately he turned serious and, tapping the letter on his desk, commented, "What faith! I wish I had the faith of the man who wrote this letter, starting up a correspondence with God." See, first picture indicates that he is writing letter to God. He is asking for money in the form of pesos. Okay, the difficult words, phrases we can find from this paragraph. Pesos, the basically monetary unit of Mexico, several other Latin American countries, and the Philippines. Okay, next word, amiable, friendly and pleasant. The postmaster was feeling amiable. Okay, third word, correspondence, communication by exchanging letters with someone. Here postman surprised to corresponding the god. Okay, in this paragraph, uh, our author would like to explain like this. In his in his letter to God, he communicated his poverty-stricken situation and mentioned that he needed 100 pesos to regenerate the crops along with surviving until they are ready to harvest. On the envelope, he wrote to God. Then at the post office, placed the stamp on the letter and dropped it in the mailbox. A postman who was also an employee of the post office noticed Lencho's letter and showed it to the postmaster. They both felt amused, but the master, who was a fat and friendly, immediately developed a sense of seriousness. Who he has astounded, surprised at the amount of faith Lencho has in the God, and wished he had the same. He was also having the faith in the God. The postmaster is also having the faith in the God, as is the explanation given by the author in this paragraph. Okay, let's get into the next paragraph. So, in order not to shake the writer's faith in God, the postmaster came up with an idea. What is that? Answer the letter. But when he opened it, it was evident that to answer it, he needed something more than goodwill, ink, and paper. But what is that? But he stuck to his resolution. He asked for money from his employees. He himself gave part of his salary, and several friends of his were obliged to give something for an act of charity. It was impossible for him to gather together the 100 pesos, so he was able to send the farmer only a little more than half. He put the money in an envelope addressed to Lencho, and with it a letter containing only a single word as signature called God. Okay, from this, see, you can see the 100 pesos note picture also, and collection of pesos from the employees of the post office. You can find the next picture, and the difficult words phrases from this paragraph are goodwill. First word is goodwill, that means friendly, helpful, or cooperative feeling or attitude. Second word, resolution, a firm decision to do or not to do something. Third word, obliged, that means grateful, that means thankfulness, feel of thankfulness. From this paragraph, the author would like to explain like this. With good intentions, the postmaster read the letter and thought of replying to it so as to keep the writer's belief intact. But the writer expected the reply in a different way that could not be fulfilled with a pen, paper, and morals. The farmer had demanded for 100 pesos. The postmaster, along with his colleagues and a few friends who were more than willing to donate for a good cause, collected a pool of money to help Lencho. Despite his best efforts, he was only able to collect an amount not more than half of what was required. He could able to collect more than half of the that requirement of Lencho. He then addressed it to Lencho along with a letter which was undersigned by God. He has signed as a God. Like he saying that he could not want to break the faith on God. So he has given a signature in the reply letter as a God. Okay, that was the explanation given by author. Next paragraph, let's get into next paragraph. What he want to tell in next paragraph? Let us see. The following Sunday, Lencho came a bit earlier than usual to ask if there was a letter for him. It was the postman himself who handed the letter to him, while the postmaster, experiencing the contentment of a man who has performed a good deed, looked on from his office. Lencho showed not the slightest surprise on seeing the money. Such was his confidence. But he became angry when he counted the money. God could not have made a mistake, nor could he have denied Lencho what he had requested. See, the picture also explains that he has come to the post office to check his letter, whether he received the letter from God or not. He was not having any surprise because he was having lot of confidence in God. That's why. But instead, he got some angry. Why? Why? Because he found less amount. Okay, let us find out the difficult words from this paragraph. The contentment, that means satisfaction. From this paragraph, author would like to explain like this. Next Sunday, Lencho came looking for the reply a bit earlier than expected. The postmaster handed him the letter, waiting to see him joyful and surprised, while the postmaster, feeling satisfied, oversaw it from his office. On the contrary, the farmer got disheartened. Heartened means could not having better heart. He was having some disappointment on seeing that the money was less than what he asked for. His faith is still undeterred, and he believed that God cannot make such a mistake. He was just undetermined himself. God cannot do such mistake. He could have sent some full amount only. Something happened in the middle. That was his doubt. So that was the explanation given by author in this paragraph. Let's get into the last paragraph of the lesson from textbook. Immediately, Lencho went up to the window to ask for paper and ink. On the public writing table, he started to write with much wrinkling of his brow, caused by the effort he had to make to express his ideas. When he finished, he went to the window to buy a stamp, which he licked and then affixed it to the envelope with a blow of his fist. The moment the letter fell into the mailbox, the postmaster went to open it. It said, God, of the money that I asked for, only 70 pesos reached me. Send me the rest, since I need it very much. But don't send it to me through the mail, because the post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Lencho. The first picture will show that he is writing reply to the God that the post office employees are bunch of crooks. Means they have stolen the rest amount from which you have sent. I received only 70 pesos. The second picture shows that 70 pesos have been received. This is the end of the story. Means at the end, what he said, see, from this paragraph, what author would like to explain like this. On being disappointed, he started looking for ink and paper to write to God again. While writing, his eyebrows got curled out of concentration with which he was drafting a new request. On completing, he affixed it with a stamp, and as soon as he dropped it into the mailbox, the postmaster took it out to read it. Lencho complained that he had only received 70 pesos. He is really in need of the remaining amount also. He doubted the integrity and honesty of the post office employees and suggested that the money should not be sent via post office, because he doubted that the staff at the post office must have stolen the missing amount. That means the 30 pesos have been stolen by post office employees. That's why at the end he has written like, post office employees are a bunch of crooks. Okay, let's get into a brief summary of the story. Okay, come back. Summary of the story is like this. The story, A Letter to God, written by G.L. Fuentes, depicts unwavering faith of a farmer in God. It begins with a farmer named Lencho expecting for a rain shower to nourish his field of corn. He is confident that his harvest is going to yield him huge profits just like it does every year. To his utmost excitement, rainfall did happen, but sooner it turned into a hailstorm, destroying his entire crop field. The damage posed a threat to the family's survival as their entire livelihood was dependent on the year's produce. Although this hurtened, the family had robust belief in the Almighty. Means they got reboosted belief in the Almighty. In the Almighty means in the God. Lencho, despite having worked day and night at the field, knew how to write and thus decided to write a letter to God explaining his situation and asked for help. He went to town to post his letter addressed to God. The letter, on being noticed by the postmaster, at first amused him but then motivated him want to do something for the farmer so as to keep his immense belief intact. He contributes from his salary and collects money from his colleagues and friends who are willing to contribute for an act of charity. To his dismay, he could only collect 70 pesos, which he wrapped in an envelope to make it seem like a reply from the deity, means reply from the God. On having found the letter, Lencho is not at all shocked because he was confident, faith in God, but instead he gets angry on finding that the amount is less than what he has expected. He again writes a letter to God, conveying his disappointment and distrust in the employees of the post office who he thought had stolen the remaining amount. That means that remaining amount have been stolen by the post office employees. That's why he called as a bunch of crooks. Okay, this is the end of the lesson. Hope all the students have understood this lesson clearly. Thank you, students. Till next video, keep learning, keep practicing. Thank you, students.